Okay, let's get straight into our deep dive today. You brought something up that's, well, pretty disturbing. An event that really puts a spotlight on systems we rely on every day.
It really does.
So imagine this. Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. It's late Monday night, April 14th, 2025.
Mm.
We're at the Lok Bandhu Rajnarayan Combined Hospital.
Uh-huh.
Think about how hospitals are late at night, that quiet hum of machines, maybe some nurses moving around, a cough here and there. It's usually, well, calm,
Right.
vigilant, maybe.
That stillness, yeah. It really sets the scene for what happened next, doesn't it? Hospitals at that hour, people are so vulnerable. They trust the place, the staff, the building itself.
Exactly. They're putting their faith in it.
So when that security gets shattered, the impact is just immediate and
Oh.
deep.
Absolutely. And shattered it was. Smoke suddenly pouring from the second floor.
Not just anywhere either.
No. We're talking the ICU, the intensive care unit. For anyone listening, that's where the most critically ill patients are, needing constant life support.
And the HD right next door.
Right, the high dependency unit. A step down, but still very, very serious monitoring needed. So what started as maybe, a bit of concern, it blew up fast.
Yeah.
A full-blown emergency.
And the suspected cause? Well, it's something we hear depressingly often, isn't it? A short circuit.
Almost the go-to explanation. Feels like it sometimes.
Especially in public buildings. But think about what that means in an ICU or an HDU.
Yeah.
You've got, 40, maybe 50 patients there, hooked up to everything, ventilators breathing for them, monitors tracking every heartbeat, oxygen flowing.
Constant support needed.
A simple electrical fault there, it's potentially catastrophic, instantly.
It's already such a high-stakes environment.
Yeah.
Then you add in the families sitting there, worried sick, just waiting, and suddenly this place of care turns into, well, a potential disaster zone.
But that's also where the human element kicked in, right? The immediate response.
It seems like it. The hospital staff, the fire department reports say they were on it incredibly quickly.
Which is remarkable. You have nurses, doctors, support staff. They're trained for medical crises, sure, but maybe not a fire ripping through a critical care ward.
Right, different kind of emergency entirely.
And they're making split-second decisions under, immense pressure. We heard about them actually carrying patients out.
And sharing them. Wow.
Yeah, and even evacuating some through windows. It just paints a picture of sheer urgency, dedication.
You can almost see it, can't you? Patients in those gowns, masks dangling, staff shouting instructions over the noise. Just chaos
Well,
and fear.
mm-hmm.
And the numbers involved.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly 200 patients evacuated in just a few hours. Think about the logistics of moving that many sick people, many who can't even move themselves.
It's staggering. It feels like a near miracle they got so many out safely.
It really does.
Though that kind of rapid evacuation, while amazing, also brings its own risks,
Yeah.
Moving vulnerable people under stress, where did they go? Is their care interrupted?
That's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
It shows emergency plans worked, maybe, but also how fragile things are when pushed.
Exactly. The system bent, but didn't fully break, perhaps.
But tragically, it wasn't a completely clean escape. There was loss. We learned that a 61-year-old man, Rajkumar Prajapati, he was in the ICU.
Dependent on oxygen, right,
Yeah.
for hypertension complications.
Yeah. He died during the evacuation. It's just heartbreaking. Someone in a place meant to heal, rely on the very systems meant to keep him alive.
And those systems failed when the fire hit. It just highlights how incredibly vulnerable these patients are. Redundancy, backup systems, fire safety. They aren't just nice-to-haves in ICUs, they're absolutely vital.
Non-negotiable.
The oxygen supply being interrupted during a fire, that's an immediate direct threat.
And there was more. A 26-year-old woman, Kanti, was critically injured. She had to be moved to the trauma center at Balrampur Hospital.
So you're left hoping she pulls through. It adds another layer of concern.
Definitely. Now, here's where things get a bit confusing. The Deputy Chief Minister, Brajesh Pathak, he oversees health and medical education.
Uh-huh.
He reportedly said there were no injuries from the fire.
No injuries, but we know someone died, and someone else was critically injured.
Exactly. It's a major disconnect between that official statement and what actually happened on the ground.
It makes you wonder about definitions. Maybe injury meant only burns from the fire itself, not consequences of the move or care disruption.
Could be. But for the families, that distinction probably doesn't mean much, does it?
No, not at all. It feels like minimizing what happened.
Though, to be fair, reports also said Mr. Pathak was actually at the hospital overseeing the rescue.
Okay, so there was immediate government presence, some action being taken amidst the confusing messaging.
Right. And then came that massive patient transfer. You described it almost like high-stakes musical chairs for hospitals.
It really was. Moving nearly 200 patients, spreading them out across Lucknow Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Hospital, Balrampur, King George's Medical University, Ram Manohar Lohia Institute.
Even Jokhari Bai Hospital for pregnant women specifically.
The coordination needed for that, at speed. It suggests the public health network can connect and react, even if it was stretched to its absolute limit.
Shows how interdependent they are, especially in a crisis. Puts immense pressure on the receiving hospitals, too, I imagine.
Absolutely. They suddenly have dozens of extra, often very ill, patients arrive.
So we've walked through the events of that night. Let's circle back to the trigger, that short-circuit explanation. Like we said, it comes up a lot. Is it just the immediate cause, you think? Or is it maybe a symptom of something deeper?
That's the critical question, isn't it?
Like, when was the last time the electrics in a building like Lok Bandhu were properly checked, thoroughly audited? How does basic maintenance get prioritized against, say, adding more beds?
Exactly. A short circuit doesn't usually just happen out of the blue. It often points to older wiring, maybe systems being overloaded, lack of upkeep, maybe inadequate safety protocols.
So if it was a short circuit, it suggests potential systemic weaknesses in how we look after these essential public buildings, hospitals especially.
It really makes you question the rigor of safety checks, the funding for maintenance versus expansion. Are we keeping up with the basics?
And this fire, it's not happening in a vacuum, is it? Public hospitals are often under enormous strain.
Oh, absolutely. Overcrowding, staff stretched thin, sometimes infrastructure that's, well, aging.
Let's be honest, yeah.
Yeah.
Could this be a wake-up call? A really stark, urgent one to tackle these chronic issues before another disaster happens?
You'd hope so, because sadly, looking bigger picture, hospital fires aren't that rare in India.
Really? That's concerning.
Yeah, it suggests systemic vulnerabilities, things like old wiring, plus the inherent danger of oxygen-rich environments, plus lots of people packed in. It creates a higher risk. This Lucknow fire, tragically, kind of fits a pattern that needs serious nationwide attention.
That puts a whole different light on it. It's not just one bad night.
No, it points to broader issues needing real solutions.
But okay, amidst all this serious stuff, we absolutely have to acknowledge the bravery on display that night. The hospital staff, the firefighters. Reports even mention bystanders helping out. They ran towards danger.
Incredible courage. Facing a terrifying situation head-on. Deputy CM Pathak apparently praised them too. The medical staff, paramedics, the superintendent for the coordinated evacuation.
And rightly so.
It's that human spirit, isn't it? Even when systems might be flawed, people step up, risking their own safety for others in that chaos. It's remarkable. True professionalism, true compassion.
Absolutely. So this event in Lucknow, it really pushes us beyond just one hospital fire. It makes you think about the whole public healthcare system, doesn't it?
It has to.
Are we, as a society, investing enough in just the basic safety and infrastructure of these places? Are the safety audits frequent enough, tough enough?
Is the funding there to make sure these places aren't just functioning but are fundamentally safe?
Critical questions. Because we all rely on these hospitals being there, being safe, when we're at our most vulnerable.
The Lok Bandhu fire forces you to think about the priority we give this. It's not just about having enough beds. It's about those beds being in a safe environment for patients and staff.
So as people listening reflect on this, I hope they see it as more than just, another news report that fades away. Think about how vulnerable hospitals are, the systems they depend on, and maybe ask, are we demanding enough to make sure these vital places are as safe, as resilient as they absolutely must be?
Because ultimately, looking closely at this fire brings you right back to the people, the staff who were heroes, the firefighters, and especially the patients and families who went through unimaginable fear and, in one case, devastating loss.
Yeah.
Let's really hope the lessons from this tragedy stick, that they lead to real, tangible changes. So the next headlines are about improvements in safety, not another fire like this one.